Soul Garden. Why does every guy cheat on you? Trust me, I know. How come girls always call you their friend? I can tell you. We'll talk about your strengths and we'll talk about emotions. Secrets of Birthdays, now live for purchase. Check out yours at secretsofbirthdays.com. Namaste. Welcome to Soul Horoscopes Orbits Edition. From my webcam to yours, I'm Christopher Rayman Witecki, your astrologer and soul biographer, here to help you put the pieces of your karmic story together this week. Well, this week we are wrapping up the sun in Leo. That's the I love state of awareness emanating from our heart chakra. We're going to go from step 25 to being tested at step 29. We also have a full moon this week. And at the end of the week, the sun shifts into IB Virgo, the most real sign of all 12 signs. Now, emotionally, it starts off a little conservative. On Sunday and Monday, the moon is in Capricorn, but then the moon goes to a full moon status in Aquarius Tuesday, Wednesday. Then things get kind of slippery, sloppy in Pisces Thursday, Friday, and then this weekend it gets intense again with the moon crossing that T-square. The moon signs most affected are the Capricorn Cancer spectrum, Aquarius Leo during the full moon, Pisces Virgo, and of course next weekend the Aries and Libras will be running around the planet. Now looking at orbits, man, most emotions will affect crown and third eye this week, but at the end of the week the moon does go all the way down back to the root chakra, so you might have fears of survival on the weekend. Other planets affected, of course, are our solar plexus with Jupiter, but Mercury has now moved up to the heart chakra, which means that thoughts can affect your heart. Your mind can go the wrong direction and suddenly break your heart. So be careful, mind does lead to heartache if not well managed. Now looking at the planets, the same old corporates are here. For one, the soul pyramid in water, a grand trine between Neptune, Saturn, and that party down in Cancer. Now that does get struck when the moon crosses Neptune in Pisces later this week. Of course, we have a full moon on Tuesday, Wednesday. That is a tug of war between the sun and the earth and the moon, and that will mean literally a detachment moment where you have to let go of the things you don't love so you can embrace the things you do love. Also, that T-square. Oh, what fun it is to ride, right? Well, the moon is going to cross over Uranus this weekend, and that's going to really light up this T-square. In each of your horoscopes, I'll describe what that means for you. Here you can see the moon crossing over the earth right before it hits the solar pyramid. So the full moon is pretty intense. It hits us, makes us pull apart, and then the moon crosses that solar pyramid right away, forcing us to kind of update those emotions immediately. Well, let's take the ascension elevator up, shall we, and take a bird's eye view of you.
Folks, this is your captain speaking. We realize you have a choice in the astrologers you choose to fly with, and we'd just like to thank you for flying with Christopher Witecki.
Hello, your honors and Libra risings, and welcome to 33,000 feet for a bird's eye view of you. What's going on in your cycles and circles, or the orbits of your planets. The most primary orbit deals with what you love. We're in chapter 3 of Sun in Leo. The Librans and the natural-born judges of justice are working on where they feel they belong in the world. This week you're going to put the finishing touches on that. That's your relationship to your society, that's reputation, and really that's a heart belonging. We're supposed to be attracted to what our heart enjoys and not try to change ourselves for the world. That's been a big part of it, especially for the Librans. Another orbit moving forward deals with moving up when it comes to self-esteem and soul capital, the ability to manifest abundance, to get money moving, to no longer feel at the victim of the world, but on top of your soul capital. And that issue of taking responsibility for your value ties into how well you feel in the moment or not, and also ties into your career success or not. But the pivot point, or the fulcrum, is in fact being responsible and not allowing your value to run out the door, and maybe not give it away in any moment, to be focusing on where you put those investments. Then lastly, as you well know, marriage and partnerships, struggling to innovate, feeling maybe trapped, and partly what they're trapped up between is the Pluto and Cancer opposition. And for you, this is the opposition between trying to expand career and trying to feel more comfortable at home, or more balanced, or more grounded. So, literally marriage and partnership may be torn between home, family, and career objectives. A lot of intensity there. So as we start off here this week, we're moving into chapter 3 of Sun in Leo. And this is the part where your relationship to society takes on innovation. where we try to become social architects, where we want to make a difference in the world. This is master shui. This is where you ascend. This is your utopia or not utopia. And that's really where your focus are in the highest heartfelt intentions for where you could be in the world. And we all have to do that work, even if we're at the beginning of that transit, etc. Now, the planets will move from step 25 to step 29 this week. That's from Sunday, a lot of meditation on what you should do next in the world, leading to being tested. So your world reputation will be tested Thursday or Thursday evening. Then it shifts into a 30-day karma transit where you're going to clear out the soul capital, get rid of the weeds. This happens every year, and this is before your birthday. So that starts on Friday. Now, Jupiter and Mars are working really hard to push the Libra and Libra risings career and legacy forward. This week, you'll make some pronounced steps to push career forward, and those are in concert, I believe, with your social reputation efforts going on at the moment. And Jupiter there at the bottom of the transit is at 11 degrees moving to 12, which means the old career wounds are finally healing, and career will go kind of quantum in its growth starting at the end of the week. The last thing that is important to know is the story of Saturn. It's now time to come to peace with when it comes to soul capital and self-confidence, and that means no more unfair exchanges of energy. If you do not receive what you give, you need to withdraw from the situation. No long-term investments will be permitted at this time. In long-term meaning, you're only going to be allowed to keep financial investments that return immediately. Everything else is going to start to decay right now, which is part of the reason why Libras and Libra risings found themselves in debt or in poverty in the first place, was the mismanaging of the small little transactions with human beings, not the big ones like a house. Now, last week, the real pivot point was that quantum shift that happened on Thursday. That point might have been a major emotional shift in where you felt you were in the world or where you felt you could go, a major shift in emotions, which has been a big part of with that soul pyramid in water, and that was a rippling effect that happened through the weekend. This week, it starts on Sunday the 18th with a Neptune-ruled day, so you're really literally having a God-ruled Sunday, psychically logging in, trying to find, I think intuit where that next piece is going to go in society and where you're going to aim, where your heart really feels like it belongs. The moon is in Capricorn, so you're nesting and resting on Sunday and Monday. And if you have to work on Monday, you might find that you're emotionally a bit drained. That's because the moon is calling for you to recharge your emotions. Then the moon moves into Aquarius and goes full on Tuesday. So this full moon will be a tug of war between your inner child, the inner prince or princess, and the efforts in society. And this, hopefully, the inner child rising up and throwing a full moon temper tantrum is probably a cheerleader that you needed to get what you wanted in the world. Frankly, remember what you're supposed to be in the world is a reflection of that inner child. So if you have breakdowns on Tuesday, it's because you have ignored your child. Now, if you don't have breakdowns but you feel empowered, this is what the energy is about with the full moon, to get out of the obligations in society that you don't love, or to leap for the obligations you do. And leaping is literally it. Mars rules the day on this full moon day, so this will be a tragic day, lots of car accidents, things like that with people. I'm afraid it's really set up to be kind of damaging to those who aren't paying attention, because the Mars rule puts an extra flair or push on everything. What it means for you is you want to take action on the full moon Tuesday to step into or toward the reputation or belonging you want, and away from those final steps of groups, organizations, or even friendships at this late stage that no longer serve you. Now, on Wednesday, you're holding space, and the moon will continue to be in in Aquarius, So your inner child is basically emotionally endowed. It could be a very playful day, but it is a day of not having really any response. The whole world is kind of waiting in a moment of quiet on Wednesday. On Thursday, the moon moves into Pisces, making you hyper-aware and striking that soul pyramid in water. What that means is you will have to stay in your peace, stay in your self-compassion in the moment, which of course also calls for you to hold your prices, not backpedal, not overgive, not undergive, but usually you're overgiving as a Libra. And then of course in Cancer, your career objectives will also be somewhat tested. And this is all on Thursday with the moon in Pisces, and your role or title or what you're going for in the world also tested. So Thursday is about holding faith that you're going to be fine, staying in self-compassion in the moment, holding the strength of not going back on what you're worth, not giving too much away, and just holding that note. Then Friday when we wake up, it's the 0 degree. 0 means zero, the no man's land between two states of awareness. And this does mean you are officially shifting from social reputation to 30 days of clearing your weeds. Now, your weeds are basically your subconscious sabotage that is in the depth of your subconscious because they were childhood issues, but before childhood, they were past life issues. So these are issues that haunt us from childhood and will wrap them around our legs, trip us up in our adulthood. So you clear them once a year, and you begin that clearing this weekend. This weekend, the moon also will shift into Aries, so your emotions will shift to your marriage and your marriage partnerships, striking that T-square that I talked about between career objectives and home and family. So your inner faith begins, that whole transit begins with home family issues struck and marriage issues struck. But remember, the transit is actually about inner faith. Now, getting back down to earth for a minute, if you want some help, this is the last week. You can get me for a serious joy reading for just $99.99. You can book it for the entire year, by the way, in the software, but you won't get it for this price. I will give you an MP3 reading, recording when it's done, and help you step into your plan for joy. So come on down to soulmart.me. Last chance at this rate. Also, I'm doing for much affordable, Jumpstart the Heart. This is a 90-minute web conference. It happens on Saturdays or Sundays. There are a lot of dates available where we'll help you step into your heart chakra, get you back on the artist path and back onto manifestation. Check this out while you're down at Soulmart as well. And Lightcast Bootcamp, this is my 6-week course that happens on Sundays that will help you step into your full manifestation. So if you're trying to manifest a career, a marriage, something really big, this class, literally, we build it piece by piece, and people, about 80% of the class, will manifest by the end of the class. So this is a no-joke thing. You got to check it out to believe it and step into your power for that. Don't forget to come to my guided hangouts, which we'll call Practical Wizardry. It tapes on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. At Eastern Time, and I love a studio audience. I love to hear what's going on, and I'd love to coach you for free. So if you come on camera, that's free as well. But all these things, my products and services, are available at soulmart.me, and they do keep me on the air, so even a small little $4.95 purchase of a video helps us out. All right, Libra, that's all I have for this week. I wish you good well. Libra Risings, you as well. We'll see you in 7 days. Stay in your true belonging to the world, and live, love, be.